the man who built a digital empire and became a legend behind bars. This is the story of a digital ghost that refuses to be exorcised, a sprawling, anonymous marketplace for anything you can imagine, and the ideological war it ignited across the internet. It's the story of the Silk Road, its creator, and the phantom markets that rose from its ashes. In 2011, a corner of the internet known as the dark web saw the birth of an unprecedented creation, the Silk Road. It was more than just a website. It was a libertarian utopia, a truly free market, operating beyond the reach of any government. Its founder, a young, idealistic Texan named Ross Ulbricht, operating under the pseudonym Dread Pirate Roberts, envisioned a world where individuals could transact freely, without oversight or regulation. Using the Tor browser for anonymity and Bitcoin for payments, the Silk Road quickly became the Amazon of the underworld. Drugs, forged documents, hacking services, if it was illicit, it was likely for sale. The platform was slick, professional, and featured a user review system, bringing a strange sense of order and customer service to the chaos of the black market. Ulbricht, a former physics and engineering student, wasn't a typical drug lord. He infused his creation with a political philosophy, writing manifestos on the site's forums about ending the war on drugs and promoting personal liberty. He saw himself as a pioneer, a revolutionary using technology to challenge the authority of the state. For 2.5 years, Dread Pirate Roberts was a ghost, a phantom orchestrating a billion-dollar enterprise from behind a laptop screen. The FBI and IRS were in a frantic, high-stakes game of cat and mouse, hunting a digital shadow who seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at once. They saw a criminal kingpin responsible for facilitating countless drug deals and even, according to prosecutors, attempting to arrange murders for hire to protect his empire, charges Ulbricht vehemently denied. The hunt for Dread Pirate Roberts became one of the most complex cyber investigations in history. Federal agents spent years piecing together digital breadcrumbs, tracing Bitcoin transactions, and infiltrating the site's inner circle. The breakthrough finally came not from a brilliant piece of code breaking, but from painstaking, old-fashioned detective work. An IRS agent, Gary Alford, meticulously traced a series of early promotional posts about the Silk Road back to a single email address: rossulbricht@gmail.com. It was a rookie mistake made years earlier, a single loose thread that would unravel the entire operation. On October 2nd, 2013, the ghost was finally captured. FBI agents stormed a public library in San Francisco, arresting Ross Ulbricht while his laptop was open, logged into the Silk Road's administrative panel, caught red-handed. The digital king was dethroned. The empire had fallen. Ulbricht was sentenced to a double life sentence plus 40 years. With no possibility of parole, a sentence many deemed draconian for non-violent crimes. The message from the authorities was clear. This new form of digital lawlessness would not be tolerated. But when you cut off the head of a hydra, more heads grow in its place. The arrest of Ross Ulbricht and the seizure of the Silk Road didn't end the darknet market phenomenon. It catalyzed it. It was a proof of concept. Ulbricht had shown the world it was possible. Within weeks of the Silk Road shutdown, dozens of clones and successors began to spring up, each learning from the mistakes of their predecessor. Names like Silk Road 2.0, Alphabay, and Hansa Market emerged, bigger, more secure, and more brazen than the original. For every market the authorities managed to dismantle, two more seemed to take its place in a relentless cycle of digital reincarnation. The war on darknet markets had just begun, and the battlefield was expanding exponentially. The global law enforcement community, led by agencies like the FBI and Europol, had to adapt. They formed sophisticated joint task forces dedicated to policing this new digital frontier. Their primary weapon in this fight became blockchain forensics. Bitcoin, once hailed as the perfect anonymous currency, turned out to have an Achilles heel: its public ledger. Every transaction, while pseudonymous, is recorded forever. Specialized firms like Chainalysis and CipherTrace developed powerful tools to analyze this ledger, connecting digital wallets to real-world identities, tracing the flow of illicit funds from the buyer to the vendor, and ultimately to the market administrators. This led to a series of high-profile takedowns. Operation Bayonet in 2017 saw the coordinated seizure of Alphabay and Hansa, two of the largest markets at the time, In a brilliant sting operation, where Dutch police secretly ran Hansa for weeks, collecting data on thousands of users, it was a major victory, a demonstration that no one was truly anonymous. Yet the evolution continued. The darknet ecosystem is a living organism, constantly adapting to survive. The administrators of the new wave of markets, the ghost markets, learned from the fall of Alphabet and Hansa. They understood that relying on Bitcoin was a critical vulnerability. The new standard for anonymity became Monero, a privacy-centric cryptocurrency designed from the ground up to be untraceable. Unlike Bitcoin, Monero's transaction details the sender, receiver, and amount obfuscated by default, making blockchain analysis nearly impossible. It creates a digital fog that even the most advanced forensic tools struggle to penetrate. These ghost markets have also embraced more sophisticated operational security. Many now use transaction mixers and tumblers as a mandatory step. These services take a user's cryptocurrency, mix it with a large pool of funds from other users, and then spit out clean coins at the other end, severing the link between the user's original wallet and their darknet purchases. This multi-layered approach to obfuscation makes tracing the money trail a Herculean task. The marketplaces themselves are becoming more decentralized and resilient, sometimes operating as invite-only platforms to vet users and prevent infiltration by law enforcement. They are phantoms by design, built to vanish at the first sign of trouble and reappear under a new name, a new corner of the dark web. The hunt that once involved following a money trail now requires penetrating encrypted communication channels and breaking through layers of cryptographic camouflage. It's a constant, escalating arms race between the coders of crime and the agents of the law. The legacy of the Silk Road and the persistence of these ghost markets force us to confront a series of profound and uncomfortable questions. Ross Ulbricht, now a symbol for both digital crime and libertarian martyrdom, sits in a maximum security prison, but the ideology he championed continues to thrive in the darkest corners of the web. His story has become a flashpoint in a larger debate about the very nature of freedom in a digital age. Where do we draw the line between personal liberty and public safety? Can technology that enables free expression and privacy exist without also enabling crime and exploitation? And as our world becomes increasingly decentralized, powered by blockchains and encrypted networks, are we prepared for the challenges of governing a world where borders, laws, and authority itself can be rendered obsolete by a few lines of code? The ghost of the Silk Road still haunts the internet, a stark reminder that in the decentralized era, building an empire is one thing, but erasing an idea is another thing entirely. The war for the soul of the web is far from over. It is a conflict fought not with guns, but with keyboards, not on battlefields, but on servers. A silent, ongoing struggle that will define the future of technology, crime, and the very essence of control.